Hi, I'm Mahia, and today we're going back to the very beginning. Before Olympus, before the gods, before everything, before Zeus, before Hades, before Poseidon, before Mount Olympus, there was nothing. No sky, no earth, no sea, no stars, no light, only chaos. Not chaos as we imagine today, not destruction, not war, simply an endless void, silent, infinite, timeless, a place where nothing had ever existed, yet somehow everything would begin here. The first gods. Then something changed. From the endless darkness came Gaia, the earth herself. Not a planet, not merely land, but a living, primordial force, the mother of creation. Soon after, others emerged. Tartarus, the deepest abyss, a place so dark that even the gods would one day fear it. Then came Nyx, night itself, followed by Erebus, darkness, not the absence of light, but darkness given form, and finally Eros, not simply love, but desire, the invisible force that pushed creation forward. Life had finally begun. Gaia creates the sky. But Gaia stood alone. There was no one to share her world, so she looked upward and created Uranus, the sky. He stretched endlessly above the earth, covering Gaia like an infinite blue ocean. Together, Gaia and Uranus became the first rulers of existence itself. For a moment, the universe seemed peaceful, but that peace would not last. The first children. Gaia gave birth to children unlike anything the universe had ever seen. They were not gentle, they were not beautiful, they were ancient powers born from nature itself. The first were the Cyclopes, three gigantic brothers, Brontes, Steropes, Arges. Each possessed only a single eye at the center of the forehead. Their appearance terrified almost everyone, but hidden beneath their monstrous forms was an extraordinary gift. They were master craftsmen, masters of fire, metal, and creation. One day they would forge the greatest weapons ever carried by the gods, but that day had not yet arrived. The 100-handed giants. Then Gaia gave birth once again, this time to creatures even stranger, the Hecatoncheires, three colossal giants, Cottus, Briareus, Gyges. Each possessed 100 arms, 50 heads, and strength beyond imagination. With hundreds of hands, they could hurl massive boulders like ordinary stones. They were not simply giants, they were living disasters. The fear of Uranus. But Uranus looked upon his children and saw only monsters. Not sons, not daughters, monsters, creatures too powerful to ever be trusted. Fear slowly consumed him. Every time he looked at them, his fear grew stronger until one day he made a terrible decision. Without mercy, he seized the Cyclopes, then the 100-handed ones, dragging them deep beneath the earth into Tartarus, a prison so dark that no light had ever reached it. There they remained, buried alive, forgotten, alone. Gaia's sorrow. But Gaia never forgot. Every day she heard their cries. Every night their voices echoed through the earth. A mother forced to listen while her own children suffered. Day after day, year after year, until her sorrow became rage. She realized the universe could never know peace while Uranus ruled the heavens, and so she made a decision, one that would change the fate of every god who would ever live. Ending deep beneath the earth, Gaia began forging a single weapon, a weapon strong enough to challenge the ruler of the sky, a giant adamantine sickle. Then she gathered her children. She looked at each of them and asked one simple question: who among you will stand against your father? Silence filled the world until one Titan stepped forward. His name was Cronus. Only one Titan stepped forward. His name was Cronus, the youngest of the Titans, not the oldest, not the strongest, but perhaps the most daring. Gaia looked at her son and saw something she had not seen in the others. Resolve, she placed the great sickle into his hands, forged from adamant, a weapon made for one purpose, to bring down the ruler of the heavens. Cronus took it and waited. Night fell, the world grew still, the stars watched in silence, hidden in the shadows. Cronus waited for his father. Then Uranus descended, as he always had, confident, untouchable, certain that no one would ever dare challenge him. He never imagined that his own son was waiting in the dark. In a single moment, Cronus struck, the sickle flashed, and the ruler of the cosmos fell. The age of Uranus was over, but this was not simply the fall of a king. It was the beginning of a pattern, a curse that would pass from father to son. As Uranus's blood fell upon Gaia, new beings were born, the Erinyes, the Furies, ancient spirits of vengeance. They would hunt those who committed the darkest crimes. Then came the giants, powerful, violent, born from bloodshed itself, living reminders that every act of violence leaves something behind. But from the sea, something entirely different began to rise, where the blood of Uranus mixed with the waves' white foam gathered. Slowly a figure emerged, a goddess of extraordinary beauty, Aphrodite, born from the sea, born from violence, a strange reminder that beauty can sometimes emerge from tragedy. With Uranus defeated, Cronus claimed the throne. The Titans were finally free. No more prisons, no more fear, no more Uranus. For a time, the universe seemed peaceful. Cronus married his sister, Rhea. Together, they became the new rulers of the cosmos. A new age had begun, the age of the Titans. But before Uranus disappeared, he gave his son one final warning, a prophecy. One day, your own child will overthrow you, just as you overthrew me. Gaia gave the same warning, and suddenly the victory Cronus had dreamed of became a source of terror. He had taken his father's throne. Now he understood that one day someone might take his. From that moment, fear entered the heart of the new king, and fear would shape everything that came next. Because when Cronus and Rhea began to have children, he remembered the prophecy and he made a horrifying decision, a decision that would turn a father into a monster. And that's the end of episode 1. Next time we'll continue with the terrifying story of Cronus, the king who swallowed his own children. If you enjoyed the story, follow the channel and join me for the next chapter. Until then, goodbye.